The question for today is, what is a hash match join in SQL Server? So it is a physical join, and this is a join that we do not usually write in our SQL queries. And this is an algorithm or an operator that is used to implement the logical joins. And this is how the hash match join looks like in your execution plan. So let's take an overview of what happens. So whenever you write your logical joins, the SQL Server uses any of these physical joins, which is the nested loop merge join or the hash match join, to implement your logical joins. So today we are going to see what happens when the SQL Server engine uses the hash match join to implement your logical join. So firstly, the database or the query optimizer uses the hash match join to join only the larger data set. And in this, there are two phases that are involved, that is the build phase and the probe phase. So in the build phase, what happens is the optimizer uses the smaller of the two data sets, and it builds a hash table on the join key in memory using a deterministic hash function. And once the hash table is created, it goes to the probe phase, where the database then scans the larger data set, probing the hash table to find the rows that meet the join condition. And the hash join always requires an equality conditions. So let's see what it actually means here with an example. So I have two tables, that's the department and the employee table. So which one is the smaller table? Because that is going to be in our build phase. So this department table is going to be in our build phase, right? So if I'm going to execute a query, like getting the select employee name and the department name from the department inner joined employee, and I'm joining it on the department number. So here in the build phase, what happens is this hash value is being generated. How? We take the smaller data set, take the join key, use a hash function, and then you generate the hash value. So here our join key is the department number, and we're going to use a hash function which is key mod n. You can use any hash function here, but for a easy understanding, I'm going to use the key mod n, which is going to give us the hash value. So so here in the hash function, I have key mod n, which is n is the total number of rows. So here the total number of rows is 2. So let's say key mod n, which is what department number 111 mod 2, is equal to 1. And here 222 mod 2 is equals to 0. So once we get our hash values, this is called as the hash table. So once our hash table is generated, we go to our probe phase. So in our probe phase, what we do is to match the hash value to our hash table using the employee table. So here we go. 222 mod 2 is 0. Does it exist? Yes, it does. So in our output, we get the John Smith, and the department location is Afton. And then we go to the next row. 111 mod 2 equals 1. So the hash value equals to this particular row. So we're going to get Julie Doe with the department location Bayport. And then it goes to the next row. 111 mod 2 equals 1. Yes, it does. And then it goes to the output table. And it goes to the next row. And then in the same way, it happens to the next two rows. So this is how the hash match join works. And if you look at the execution plan here, this is a sample query that we are going to look at it in our in a minute. Here is how the hash match join looks like in our execution plan. So if you see in this particular select statement, you see that I've used this um, word as hash, which is because uh, if you want to force the SQL Server to use this particular physical join, you can use this, but it is not a recommended practice. So let's just watch the same query in action, and I'm going to shift to my SSMS Studio, run the same query that I had in my PPT, and execute. So here we go. So I got my output, and if I switch to my execution plan, you know it's just showing me as nested loop because I did not write this hash in here. So I'm going to force a hash join here and execute it and check it out. And see, you see that the hash my join has been used in our query. So like I said before, it's not a good practice to force this particular physical join on a SQL server. And also, since my data set is very small, the SQL server automatically decided to use the nested loops join because that because that is a better option. So that is why we recommend or Microsoft recommends not to force any um, uh, join hints into the query unless you have a really good reason to do so. So let's go back to our presentation and see what the highlights of the hash might join are. So it has a build and a probe phase, and the hash table is built and it uses memory, and it is good for a large data set, and it does not require the data to be in sorting order. So I hope you understood what is a hash match join in SQL Server. Thank you and have a great day.